Hey, it's Jonah with Field of Geeks and the Number One Comics Podcast, and this is a spoiler-filled review of Thunderbolts. I do love this film. One of the things I really liked about this is how they subverted expectations. Well, I knew Taskmaster was going to die in like the first 5 minutes, so that wasn't really a surprise. But the sequence that we did get with her, the action sequence, was really, really cool. All the other characters are great. Ghost had some cool bits. I love U.S. Agent John Walker and how he's an asshole, especially to Bob when they first meet Bob. The Sentry's fantastic. I wasn't sure what they're going to do with the Sentry, but he works really well here. Very cool. And again, when I talk about subverting expectations, I didn't want him to. I was expecting him to rip somebody in half, like say Red Guardian or John Walker, and no one got torn in half. So again, subverting expectations. Good job by the filmmakers for doing that, because I think we were all expecting it, especially as comic book fans. Non-comic book fans, you'll like it too. My wife loves this film. She's not a comic book person. She didn't even know these characters going into it, and she thought it was great. A lot of laughs, a lot of action, a lot of heart. It does a really good job of diving into the psyche of the characters and exploring things like that, that I wasn't expecting from a movie like this. And so, like I said, it was all about subverting expectations, which is something that Thunderbolts has done from the beginning. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, go check it out. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll talk to you next time.
What do you expect going into a Marvel film? That's a question we got to ask ourselves. Do we expect ourselves to have to do hours worth of research or homework, as it's become known, by watching hours upon hours of Disney Plus before we can even see a movie to know what the hell's going on? Well, in this case, you really don't. My name is Bill, Field of Geeks, and this is going to be my review of Thunderbolts with spoilers. Before we get into that, I would say you at least need tertiary knowledge of Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. That's probably about it. More so Black Widow, because there's tons of characters from Black Widow in this that make an appearance. First of all, let me just say there's a phenomenal cast in this movie. Everyone was cast perfectly. I'm still not a gigantic fan of Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, but if anyone can pull off a woman in power that you love to hate, it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So that was, I have to especially give a shout out to 3 members of the cast in this. Florence Pugh, amazing Black Widow. Way better than Scarlett Johansson. And you can fight me. Scarlett Johansson sucked. She can't act. She sucks as Black Widow. Florence Pugh blows her out of the fucking water. I don't care what you say on that. That's my hot take on it. David Harbour, as always, great actor. He's kind of the comic relief in this movie, but I love that because Alexei was my hands down favorite character from Black Widow. Also, we've got some returning characters. Sebastian Stan's Bucky, as always, great character. Wyatt Russell playing John Walker, another guy you love to hate. John Walker is a gigantic douchebag, but there's kind of a reason behind that. We'll get into that. Hannah John Kamen is back as Ava/Ghost, which, thank God she's finally back in a fucking movie. The hands down best character out of all of the Ant-Man movies, maybe aside from Kang, that we've gotten. I've always been curious, like, what happened to Ghost? I want to see Ghost. When I found out she was in this movie, I jumped for joy. Absolutely. Of course, there's another character in this movie that I will not name by the name that you probably know her by, because I refuse to acknowledge that. I'll get into it. But by far the breakout star from this, Lewis Pullman, is Bob. And he's got a couple other personalities in there too. We'll get into that. But my God, he carried this movie. phenomenal actor. Phenomenal actor. The scenes with the Void are phenomenal. Absolutely terrifying. He reminds me of those, if you've ever seen the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Nega Scott, he reminds me of Nega Scott. Or you know, the trope has come up in several video games of you fighting your evil doppelganger, like Dark Link. Actually, he reminds me more of Dark Link, if you know who I'm talking about. But like, completely blacked out, except for like 2 little tiny dots for eyes, and a freaking terrifying grin. My God. Of course, Void is the multiple personality of Bob. Bob is kind of like just the innocent guy who's kind of along for the ride. Bob kind of has this really tragic backstory. Bob later on in the movie becomes the Sentry. We all kind of knew that. Anyway, he was going to turn into the Sentry, and holy fuck, the Sentry looks cool in this movie. A lot of parallels can be made between Sentry and Superman, but he's not like the evil Superman trope that we've seen in Invincible, that we've seen in The Boys. It's not like that. Like, Marvel's not copying that. There's other people. I would say more, if you're looking for a Marvel version of the evil Superman, I'd look at Hyperion. Olga Kurylenko's character, Antonia, is back in this. And at least, you know, for one, the suit looks a hell of a lot better. She doesn't look like a man. She's not played by a man. But I refuse to call her by the moniker that she's supposed to have in this movie. I absolutely fucking refuse. Because that's one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time. And I'm not going to debase him by calling her that name. I refuse. It's like Voldemort, man. I'm afraid that if I associate that name with her character, that the real character is going to show up in my nightmares. And that's a terrifying thought. So I'm not gonna, you know, invoke that kind of evil on myself. But the good thing is, in like the first 10 minutes of the movie, she gets fucking shot in the head, which, thank God, get her out of here. I'm going to get into the end credits. And no, I'm not talking about the Fantastic Four thing. There's a Fantastic Four spaceship, interdimensional craft, whatever thing in this movie. So, you know, again, that got spoiled for me by, you know what? Watching the fucking credits. That spoiled it for me, because when it got to the music, I always look at the music when it comes to credits. I always look at the music because I'm like, huh, yeah, I know where I've heard that, but who sings it and where did it come from? Oh, yeah, there it is. And then at the end of that, guess what shows up? The Fantastic Four theme. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? That didn't show up in this movie. And then I'm like, oh, great. They're going to tease it in the credits, and I just ruined that for myself. Anyway, the end credits, I feel like, are kind of a commentary on what's been going on with Marvel and larger part Disney lately. At the end of the movie, you know, they kind of save the city, everything like that, and Valentina introduces them as the new Avengers. That's where the asterisk comes from. So, you're welcome. Thanks, Feige. That was fucking dumb. But there's a lot of these like newspaper articles and stuff like that show up on the end credits, and they say, you know, not my Avengers, or the heard around the world, which I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of hashtags trending out there of hashtag not my Avengers. Fuck you all. Okay? The Thunderbolts have stood in for the Avengers plenty of times. And if you don't know that by now, read comics. I don't know what to tell you. What are you doing watching this movie if you don't read comics? I do have one more thing on the good side that I want to talk about. This is very serious and near and dear to my heart, so please bear with me. There's one thing that Marvel movies don't always touch on, or don't always touch on well, and that's mental health. Now, mental health is something that is very near and dear to my heart personally, because of, one, my own struggles with it, and two, the struggles I've seen others that are special to me deal with. Bob, aka the Void, aka the Sentry, he is probably one of the most troubled characters in Marvel Comics, let alone the MCU. And they portrayed that perfectly. From the vision you kind of get in the dark world, so to speak, of him being in an attic and him being like, this is my only, this is the nicest room I could find. And they're basically in a hellish mindscape where everything just sucks for everyone being there. And a lot of what he goes through resonates with me on a personal level, because I have dealt with depression, and I know as he says in the movie, there are those days where it's high, those days where it's low, and everything in between seems like a blur. And I personally have experienced that. So for me, that was extremely emotional for me to see in a movie. And I think it was portrayed very well. On a lighter note, as far as the mental health aspect goes, we see that really from everybody in this film. John Walker is separated from his wife and separated from his kid. So that kind of contributes to his mental anguish. Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow or White Widow or whatever you want to call her, she is clearly traumatized. She's lost her sister. She has all this trauma from the Red Room, from the Black Widow training program that she went through, and there's really nobody for her to talk about it with. You would think she could talk to her mother and father figure, but apparently she hasn't talked to Alexei in about a year, and her mother figure is just kind of gone now. I don't know whatever happened to her. That's never really explained. Bucky, of course, he's got that trauma from being the Winter Soldier. It's not really touched on, but you have the feeling that he just kind of like, and even Yelena says this to Bob at one point. She's like, you just got to take all that and just push it down. And that line alone resonates with me on such a hard level. I felt that, I know what it's like to just be like, no one's going to listen to you anyway, and nobody's going to get it, so just push it down as deep as you can. So I think that's more, I talked about David Harbour's character, Red Guardian, Alexei, being the comic relief of the movie, but you get the sense that like he's actually the one that's crushing it down the hardest, because you look at him. I looked at him like Robin Williams. Robin Williams did everything in his life to make everyone else's life better and brighter and bring humor to it. And he was one of the most depressed people on the planet. And that's what I look at with Red Guardian's character, is that, he's all alone in a shithole apartment. He's a limo driver. He's lost all that former glory and wants it back. And, that's a struggle I think some of us can probably relate to as well. Of course, Ghost, we don't really get into her too much. But you get the sense that like, the main focus for this movie isn't just Marvel's Suicide Squad, right? This is people that have been left in the wake of everything from Thanos' snap to fights with the Avengers to, brainwashing to experiencing the death of a close friend, a battle buddy. These guys have been through it. And they've kind of been left in the wake of the Avengers, if anything. And that, to me is like, you think of, I want to bring it back kind of to how Sebastian Stan described this movie as Marvel's Breakfast Club. And I really can see that in a way that, like, these people come together who normally wouldn't be in the same room together, and through their own trauma, learn to connect and to help each other and to become a team. And you can see that more than anywhere else when Bob is kind of having the final fight with himself, aka the Void. And he's starting to turn dark, and that darkness is starting to take him over, and they're all like, they don't fight Bob or try to, beat him up to stop him. They embrace him. And you talk about subverting expectations for an MCU movie. And in that moment, that touched me emotionally. It really did. Let's get into the bad stuff. Because you know how I love to shit on the MCU. So the name of the Thunderbolts, that comes from a shitty soccer team? Okay, no. That's not really where it comes from. In the comics, of course, the team originally, I think, was put together by Baron Zemo. So it would have been so cool to see him take over. We get zero closure from Valentina, because she's like I don't know, is she like vice president or something? I don't know what the hell she is, but she's on the verge of getting impeached, and by the end of it, she's just like suffers no consequences from, like, A, trying to kill the team to cover up her tracks, and B, trying to cover up all the shady shit she's done, even though, like, Yelena kind of leans in and she's like, we own you now. Like, yeah, you're the new Avengers, bitch. Which doesn't really make much sense to me. I do love the fact that they are in the former Stark Tower, as you can kind of see, at least I think they are, as you can kind of see from the end credits. But at the same time, I'm like, why are Sam and Bucky fighting now? Why is Sam being like, no, you guys can't call yourself the Avengers, I'm going to sue you? The fuck? Like, why? That's something I guess will be explained in, Ironheart or something stupid like that. I don't fucking know. What I really would have liked is getting a little more backstory heading into this, or having it fleshed out a little bit more. Like Brave New World, it's a little over 2 hours, so there's not a lot to pack into that. But I've been chomping at the bit forever to find out what the hell happened to Ghost. Did she get snapped? Did she go through 5 years of agony while, everyone was gone and Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum realm trying to get particles to help her out? Like, what the hell happened? At this point, I'm assuming she got snapped, but I would love to hear a backstory for Ghost. I'd love a backstory for all of them, honestly, and I think we get more, or not really a backstory, but like what happened in between then and now. I feel like we get that more so with Yelena than we do everybody else. Bucky, of course, we've kind of gotten him. We know what he's been up to. Love the fact that he put his arm in the dishwasher, by the way. It's great to know that, Wakandan appendages are dishwasher safe. That's great. But I would have almost loved like a lead-up series. Those Marvel one-shots they did back in the day with Agent Coulson? I would have loved if, like, they put something out like that leading up to this on Disney Plus, of like a 10-minute episode showing, like, where has John Walker been? What has he been doing this whole time? Like, obviously he's separated now. Where has Ghost been this whole time? Where has Antonia, still not gonna fucking call her TM. You're not getting that out of me. That's the closest you're getting. What's been happening to all these people? Why is Alexei by himself? Where did his, pseudo wife go? What happened? That's the thing, is like, less is more to me, and this movie exemplifies that spectacularly. Don't get me wrong. But I have been wondering for ages what the hell happened to Ghost. That's my own personal take on it. Do with it what you will. If you're looking for an action movie where superheroes beat the shit out of each other, this isn't it. Honestly, there's not a lot of action in this movie, but that's the point. And that's why you need to bring those expectations down a little bit, and why you need to go into this, and I'm going to say go into every MCU film and series from now on with a clean slate, with a open mind. Just forget about all that multiverse bullshit and just go and enjoy the movie. And this one's definitely one that you're going to enjoy. 4 out of 5 stars. Thank you for listening, everybody, and we will see you in the next one.
All right, so we're talking spoilers of the Thunderbolts. So where do we begin? Okay, well, first off, Bill mentioned in his review as well, yeah, if you don't go see it right away, any movie really that's got a high expectation factor, you're going to get spoiled. So the whole new Avengers reveal, you know, that came, what was it, Monday after it premiered on a Friday. So I was like, oh, great, thanks. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler. But yeah, thanks to everyone out on Facebook and all social media. I saw some clips of Sentry and I was like, damn it, I really wish I hadn't seen that. But it wasn't a huge deal. It was kind of teased in the trailer, so I kind of got how that was going to go down. Yeah, Taskmaster being taken out right away, not really a shock, because that character, that rendition of that character from Black Widow, if you will, a lot of people I don't think liked, and it was a last minute change in post, I believe. And you know, the actress they got, I love her. I think she's a great actress. She has been, you know, in a lot of things. Olga Kurylenko, I believe that's how you say it. Another Quantum of Solace alum like David Harbour. Really cool to have them. Well, they don't share a scene. She's taken out right away. Yeah, it was such a waste, you know. I don't know why. I hope she got paid well, because it wasn't resume heavy for her career, let's just say. And when they first cast her, or that reveal in Black Widow, yeah, I just felt like, really, she's playing this part? Like, it doesn't feel right. And unfortunately, you know, if it was a woman to start out with, because you can clearly tell the body types change, you know, clearly a dude in the Black Widow film, but you could easily say, well, she just got an updated body. I think most of her body is robotic. But anyway, it was unfortunate that she got taken out, but there was a nice little back and forth between Florence Pugh's character and Ghost, I believe, and because I think Ghost was the one that killed her, which is like, how do you take out Taskmaster out of all the characters? That should be the one that survives. But yeah, that was a nice little, you know, Florence Pugh's character said, well, she did a lot of bad things in life, killed a lot of people, and she ended up getting killed. That's kind of like where they're all sitting, really. So kind of put bluntly like that, how reality is for these people. Them all meeting up, it's crazy. I was so shocked. Dreyfuss's character is like totally like not attached to these people at all, and it just shows the ruthfulness of her in this movie, which, you know, I think is probably mostly a good thing, because I think the character in the comics, forgive me, I don't know the character too well, she's sort of like a Nick Fury, but not always having a good moral compass, I believe. So anyway, yeah, she didn't care about any of these people. And yeah, Louis Pullman's Bob knew something was going to happen with him, obviously from the trailers and such. But yeah, he did a great job. And his first appearance, that was well done. Yeah, he did a great job. And yeah, the whole cast was great. And yeah, I will say, towards the end of their battling, you know, I do have kind of a bugaboo. I know it's a fictional movie, but why did Bucky take them out in their limo? That could have killed all of them. Like, face it, what Ghost can morph Wyatt Russell's character, John Walker, he is a super soldier, and so is Red Guardian. So Yelena was like the only one who could die out of that car being flipped. So I just was like, why did Bucky... I get it, theatrically, it looks cool, but man, you're risking to kill those people if you just want to talk to them. I don't know if that was really his goal. I think he was just trying to capture them so he could take them to the Senate and prove that Dreyfus's character was out for no good, Valentina. So that's one of my gripes about the film, is like, was that really necessary? It looks cool, sure, but maybe the bad guy should have done that, and then Bucky intervened and then saved the day for them. Because him doing it intentionally just feels wrong. You know, for a movie that's over 2 hours, it feels quick. Like, really, all this stuff, you know, begins... It's like, what is it, a night before, pretty much, into the next evening, I'd say, how this takes place. So they wrap it up pretty quick in the movie. The whole end scene with Sentry, man, even from the trailer, that got me, like, just the poof, and you're gone. You look like ashes. When Red Guardian saves that girl and she just vanishes, that, my jaw dropped, because I was like, holy shit. And I was like, did they really kill this girl just now? Did they really do it? And of course, once Florence disappeared, I knew, like, okay, they're all going to be able to come back from this. Cool alternate reality or realm they're in during that time, trying to get Bob out. Yeah, some real emotional, dark, deep stuff went on in this film, and I think they did it really well. And again, I think Marvel just kind of left these people alone to make a good movie, and it was considered an underdog, and so far I think it's doing all right. I don't think it's like blowing the barn doors off of everything, but in the end, hey, if we could just get one movie like with these people, that's fine. They're already going to be in Doomsday, so I'm happy either way. You know, I loved them kind of giving us glimpses of things I wanted to see out of Black Widow, like Red Guardian's kind of origin, sort of. They showed him being celebrated back in the day, and that's basically all these guys. He has these VHS tapes, and he's just kind of living off, you know, his early days as a soldier, super soldier. Wendell Pierce wasn't really wasted. I was afraid he was going to be, because I was like, what could he really do in this movie? And he's got a few good scenes. He really does. He gets to play around. Not as many scenes as I would love him to have, but it's fine. It's nice that he's in the universe and he can pretty much dip in and out. He's also going to be in Superman, so he's kind of busy running a paper in that movie. But yeah, really love this cast. It was a true treat to see everybody. Geraldine Viswanathan, she was great in Blockers. That's where I know her from. She plays Mel. Very funny actress. Chris Bauer, I think that's how you say it. He played Holt. He was the guy who was like really hungry to kill people. Like, he's like, I plan to kill people. I didn't plan to keep these people alive, to capture them. So it was really neat. It's kind of an inside baseball thing, but he's on, or was on, For All Mankind, which is a Apple TV show. Fantastic show. Great actor. I don't know. I just got a kick out of all the talent in this film. And yeah, I'm excited to see more from these guys. And like I said, if it, you know, doesn't perform well enough for them to do another film, they'll at least be appearing in other films and possibly TV shows. So yeah, I'm so thrilled about this film. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys did too. Please like, subscribe, Field of Geeks, wherever you can find a podcast to listen to. We're there. YouTube, Facebook, all social media for the most part. fieldofgeeks.com. Of course, YouTube. That's where we're at now. So let us know what you thought, and we'll catch you later. Take care.